Hey, I'm Allison, and this is Realistically Consistent, where we talk about how to build sustainable fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits that actually last even as a busy mom. I'm here to help get you consistent, not perfect, and on your way to feeling like your best self. I'm so excited to start today's episode with you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Realistically Consistent. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited about today's episode because we are going to be talking about really how this year is just going to be so different. And before I dive into things, I just want to remind you super quickly about the 21 days to realistic consistency that is on sale now. I talked about it a little bit in the last episode, and I want to just talk about it super quickly here because in the spirit of being consistent, another challenge isn't what we need. So while this is very similar to what I've called a challenge in the past, I've never really set my challenges up to be just a 21 days and done type situation. So this 21 days is really just the kickstart to give you all of the information that you need to carry these habits that you set up over these 21 days on into the future. I want to make sure that you can build a healthy lifestyle into your current lifestyle in the most realistic way possible so that these things stick around. And that's what the 21 days is. I teach you everything that you need to know about nutrition that is the basics, but then also how to build on those basics, how to work them into your current life, not just giving you a cookie cutter meal plan or saying, go eat these recipes. I give you workouts and also tell you how to tailor them into your busy life. You can do them from home in 30 minutes or less. And like I said, you can kind of choose your own adventure and do 2, 3, 4 workouts a week. And we go through how to make that happen for you as well. And then there's also a ton of mindset training just to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So if you have already started this year with goals in mind and kind of feeling like you're struggling to figure out what's right for you, that 21 days is going to be perfect for you. So I'm going to link that down in the show notes for you as well. Now, in the spirit of that, today's episode is going to actually be all about how to make this year just different. So I'm curious, are you already starting this year kind of rolling your eyes thinking another year that I feel pressured to set these weight loss goals? Or maybe you're feeling excited thinking this is a new year, a fresh start. I'm going to make it happen this year. Well, if you want something to change, something needs to change. You cannot set the same goals and then continue on with the same plan that you've had for yourself every other year, thinking maybe this will be the year that I can stick to it. If you haven't been able to stick to it before, two things. One, it's your life, your body's already told you it's not working. And two, because of that, you probably already have a fear of failure, whether it's conscious or maybe even subconscious, where you haven't been able to follow a certain plan that you've set for yourself in the past. And so your brain has now believed, you know what? This isn't for us. We can't do it. We failed in the past. We're going to fail again in the future. And so maybe you also feel this fear of, my gosh, I really want this to work out, but I don't fully believe in my ability to do so. Or you're scared that you're just going to set yourself up to feel like a failure again, and it's just going to get worse. And so I'm curious if any of these feelings are resonating for you, if you felt any of them, and know that two things can be true at once. You can feel really hopeful and excited, but also have those feelings of fear and self-doubt at the same time. What I want to do in today's episode is try to squash those beliefs of fear and self-doubt and set you up with a plan that is going to feel really doable and different from anything that you've tried before so that you can hold on to that hope, hold on to that excitement, and create the new belief that you can actually stick with these goals this year. Because the other thing I'm just curious about, and, get really honest with yourself, have you found yourself already making excuses for what you can tell yourself if you fail or if you fall off again? Maybe you're already thinking, gosh, I planned on getting started last week, but it was still the holidays. My kids weren't back in school yet, so we're just going to start over this week. Or maybe, you know what, I was going to start this week, but back to school time's just really crazy. There's no way that I can start anything. So I'll start next week. Are you already making these excuses for yourself? If so, you are kicking off this year with the excuses that your brain is now believing. You know what? She doesn't keep promises to herself. It's going to be really easy to just keep making excuses as the year goes on. And that is because you are setting too high of goals for yourself right out of the bat where you have to make excuses. We want to go into this year starting small. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again, but in a slightly different way that hopefully makes sense because it doesn't have to be this big thing that we're starting over. And that is the reframe that I want you to think about. We're not starting over. We're not starting again. We're just making different choices. That's all. And so again, I do want you to get really honest with yourself. Have you found yourself already making excuses, or maybe just like making future excuses of, well, if I fall off in this future, it's because of, my seasonal depression and, whatever it might be. And that's fine. I understand seasonal depression is 100% a thing. However, we can still work our way through that. We can still make small decisions to show up for ourselves no matter what season it is. Every season is going to look and feel different. So we want to figure out how this winter season is going to look for you. And, maybe if you're listening to this in the summer, figure out how the summer season is going to look for you based off of the different things that are going on in your life. It's going to change. And I think that that's something else that sometimes holds us back or causes us to quote fail is because we think that consistency needs to look the same all day, every day, all year round. And that's just not the case. My winter routines look totally different than my summer routines. My routines when my kids are home full time look totally different than when my kids are at school. And so we need to understand that this consistency is going to look totally different and have different routines and have different non-negotiables. I know I talked about, and I think it was episode 3, what my non-negotiables are, but even though they're non-negotiables, I'm still getting them in different ways based on the season. And so I want you to really think about what each season is going to look like for you, what those non-negotiables are going to look like for you. And hopefully you find some through what we've talked about today or going back and listening to that previous episode as well. But the other thing that I want you to really get super real with yourself and super honest with yourself about is your self-talk. Because as I've already mentioned a few times in this episode, we've talked about, are you making excuses for yourself? Are you already thinking about what to tell yourself if you fail? Maybe you're already completely lacking belief in yourself to do this. I want you to really dig deep and think, do you have self-doubt? Do you not believe that you can stick to a goal? We have something of 60,000 thoughts per day. And on average, 80% of our thoughts are negative. What I'd love to see starting to change is flipping that script. And so 80% of the things that we say to ourselves are positive and encouraging. Think about the way that you talk to your kids, and then think about the way that you talk to yourself. If you talked to your kids the way that you talk to yourself, how would they grow up to be? You would never say 80% of the things that you probably say to yourself to your kids. So why are you saying them to yourself on repeat every single day? How do you think that's affecting the way that you live your life? If it would affect the way that your kids live their lives and grow up, it's affecting the way that you live your life today. And we also know that we can tailor what we say to our kids to help them grow and to help them feel successful and to help them succeed. Think about a kid growing up constantly being told, you can't do that. You're not good enough for that. Why would you think you could do that? Versus a kid growing up being told, absolutely, you can do that. You can do hard things. Keep trying until you get it right. How are they going to grow up differently? It is absolutely no different the way that you talk to yourself. So we want to start flipping that script and telling ourselves and changing that belief. Yes, I can do this. I can do hard things. We're also going to talk a little bit later about, I think, a sneaky other little reason that it's so hard to stay consistent. But I want to save that for the end a little bit and just really reinforce to you here. You are not a failure. If you have ever felt before like I have failed at reaching my goals, at getting healthy, setting up a healthy lifestyle, losing weight, building strength, whatever it might be, if you have ever in the past felt like a failure, I want you to get rid of that completely because there is no such thing as failure. There's only such a thing as feedback. And as cheesy as that sounds, I want you to take and reframe every single time that you felt like you failed and just figure out why it didn't work out. It wasn't a failure. It was just your body, your brain giving you feedback for why that particular thing that you tried didn't work. You need a plan that fits your life realistically. And I think that one of the things too, because I've been guilty of this in the past, is that if you're a mom listening to this, we so often try to go back to before we were mom and think about the things that worked and think, well, when back in the day when I was able to lose all this weight, all I did was, run a bunch and eat this and do this and then I lost my weight. So why can't that work now? Couple reasons. One, you don't have the same body and metabolism that you had before you had kids. And number two, you don't have the same lifestyle as before you had kids. Why would what worked back then work now? And because it's not working now, you're thinking that you're a failure because you got it to work once before, but it's not working now. And so you must be the reason that it's failing. That's absolutely not true. The reason it's not working is because it just doesn't fit your life anymore. And you need to find something that does fit your life. And that's what we're going to talk about today as well. So, today I want to share with you my list of things that are going to be top priorities so that you're not starting over, but you're starting with a new mindset. You're starting with a new outlook, and you are starting with the belief that everything you implement today, you will just be able to build on so that by this time next year, January of 2027, you're going to be able to say, man, I did it. I committed to myself for a whole year. And the other thing that I want to talk about, this is that, last kind of theory that I want to sneak in here that I want to be really clear on, because I think that this is another reason that people will fall off their habits, no matter how simple they are. Because everything that I want to talk about today is really simple. It's really easy to implement into your life, but people fall off of it because we have this notion that if it's so simple, it's so easy, it should feel easy. It should feel I shouldn't have to work that hard at it. But that's not the case. I want to be really clear and upfront with you because I don't think a lot of coaches talk about this. It's going to feel hard. It's normal for it to feel hard. And maybe you're assuming that it's going to feel hard for that, 21 days that it takes to build a habit or 60 days or whatever. But then when you don't feel like it's getting easier after 21 days or even 90 days or however long you feel like it takes you to establish a habit, if it doesn't just magically become easy after that, we think again, well, I must be failing because shouldn't this feel easy? This must not be right. I must not be aligned with this goal or this habit or whatever because it hasn't started to feel easy yet. And I want to be really honest. It's never going to feel completely effortless. The way that our world and our society is set up right now, there are temptations everywhere. We are always busy. It is going to take intention and it is going to take effort to implement all of these things. And the other thing is too, you will fall off. You will miss a day. You'll miss a habit. You'll miss something here and there. That is to be expected because life likes to throw us curveballs. And we can't beat ourselves up over that. Because again, when we expect those things and we just take them for what they are and think, okay, didn't work out this singular time, just get right back to it the next time. It's making that next right decision for us and putting one foot in front of the other, not making some big 75 hard life altering routine change where you're trying to implement too many things at once. And then when day 75 ends, you're either thinking, oh my God, I failed, or thank God that's over. I can't keep doing that. And then you fall off and whatever progress you saw in 75 days comes right back. We don't want any of that. We want to create this lifestyle for you so that you can feel good in your body and your mind. But again, I want to be really clear. You are not a failure if it doesn't feel easy. You're not a failure if it doesn't feel effortless. It's going to take effort. Okay. So I want you to go into this with that notion of this is going to require me to show up, and it's going to require effort probably for the rest of your life on some level. Does it get easier the more that you do something? Yes, absolutely. But it's still going to require effort and intention, especially in the society that we live in today. So here are the things that I would do if I were starting from a place of not really working out very much, not feeling I had a super good handle on my nutrition. Maybe you're thinking, I eat pretty healthy, but I know that I could do better. You know that you could move your body a little bit better, and you know that you could definitely think more positively, and you just want some energy back. You want to feel better. These are the things that I would do. Number one, and it is number one for a reason, prioritize your sleep. Start getting your sleep, even if you do nothing else for the next month, but get your sleep back on track. I want you to make sure that you are getting a consistent, solid 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, for me, this is still a work in progress for me because of my darling, darling baby boy who will still only let me get a maximum of 4 hours at a time. But I still am making sure that even if it's broken up, I'm getting 8 to 9 hours a day, because that sleep is what is going to determine how the rest of my day goes. So if we want to set ourselves up for a good night's sleep, here's what we need to do. We need to really seriously hone in our evening routine. Now, listen, as a mom, I understand that is my me time. The kids are all in bed, and I just want to sit and watch Netflix and have a sweet treat and just decompress for a little bit. And that's great if that's part of your routine. Build that in there. I am all for it. But again, we just want to do that in moderation. We don't want to sit there and have 3 glasses of wine. We don't want to sit there and every single night have a big, cupcake or whatever. We want to make sure that this is in moderation. So build in your time. But again, if you're watching a movie, if you're watching a show, if you're watching a Netflix series, you need to go into that turning on the TV with the intent of turning it off at a very specific time. No matter what point in the movie that you're in, no matter how many episodes, or maybe just one more, or maybe you're in the middle of a Bachelor in Paradise that's 2 hours long and doesn't end till 10, but you need to be asleep by 10. So I'll watch the rest of this tomorrow. I am the first one to split those kinds of shows and seasons up into 2 parts because I know that I need to protect my sleep. So you need to protect your sleep by shutting off that TV early. Now, experts will tell you to turn off your screens and get rid of that blue light an hour before you go to sleep. And I think that, yeah, absolutely, 100%. If you can do that, great. I know for me, my kids go to bed around 8, and I know that I want to be in bed around 9:30. So if I want to just veg out for an hour, sometimes I need that, and I'm going to do that. So that means not necessarily shutting down my screens for that full hour. My goal is about 20 to 30 minutes before I'm closing my eyes for bed, is to just get rid of all the screens. That means my phone, that means the TV, shutting them down so that I can foster a better night's sleep. So make that commitment to a minimum of 20 minutes before you are going to bed, shutting down the screens. Now, what time are you going to bed? We want to, again, figure out what the best time for you is. So figure out what time you need to be up. Maybe you're shooting to wake up a little bit early before your kids. Maybe right now you're still in the phase of I'm going to wake up with just enough time that I need to get ready for my day. Whatever that time might be, count backwards from 8. I know that I need to be up by 6, so that means I need to be asleep by 10. So if I need to be asleep by 10, I need to be in bed by 9:30, 9:40. And my screens need to be off by about 9:30. So count backwards, figure out what that ideal time is so that you can literally have that in your brain. Keep an eye on the time as you're going through your nightly routine and make sure that you're sticking to that. Now, again, why is it so important that you prioritize your sleep? This is actually a huge proponent in ability to lose weight, not just if it's the reason that you're getting up early and getting your workout in, but if you are not prioritizing your sleep, you're not giving your body enough time to rest and recover. Again, whether you are working out or not, sleep is the time that your body is resetting. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not giving your body that time that it needs to recover and do its thing, then you're already waking up with high cortisol levels when you are doing a good job of sleeping. And imagine how much higher your cortisol levels are if you're not sleeping, and your stress response and your nervous system that controls everything else in the body. We want to make sure that we are waking up each morning with a regulated nervous system, with stress response that we can handle. We want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success, because if we can't do that, then the body is again going to basically just tighten everything up and hold on to everything. So even if you do have on point nutrition and fitness and everything like that, if your sleep is not prioritized and you're still not seeing results, that could be why. Next thing that I would do, again, I'm going to keep this really simple because I've said it before, but it is just getting more steps in. I'm not saying to go from 5,000 steps to 10,000 steps overnight and try to hit that consistency, because again, we already know that that's not realistic. We don't want to hit the ground sprinting. We want to slowly build on our habits. So just by adding an average of an extra 500 to 1,000 steps per day, that's on top of what you're already doing, just build on it. Add more. Maybe you have a goal of eventually getting up to 10,000 steps per day. That's great. We love goals. We love having that, thing to strive for. But now we just want to hold on to, we're just going to do more. Just add in a little bit more movement, an extra 5-minute walk, 10 minutes of picking up the house, whatever it might be, get some more movement in. Number 2 is to drink more water. Again, 80 ounces is ideal, but if now you're only drinking a single water bottle a day, hopping all the way up to 80 ounces is going to feel like a stretch for you. So maybe just focus on doubling that and having that goal of working your way up to 80 ounces per day. Okay. So our goals here, notice, are just more. Just be more intentional, be more cognizant of what you're already doing, and add a little bit to that. And then the last piece is start noticing your thought patterns. Start noticing the way that you talk to yourself, and incorporate some sort of small practice in your day, whether it's an intentional 5 extra minutes that you take to journal or write affirmations. I know there was actually for myself an app, the I Am app, I think. I signed up for that for a year and had positive affirmations popping up on my phone 8 times a day so that I could, one, just kind of feel that, positive affirmation. And two, what I noticed it was helping me with was anytime that notification would pop up, it would also bring my awareness to where my thoughts were in that moment. And more times than not, I noticed, wow, I was actually being really hard on myself. Thank goodness this notification popped up on my phone right now. And slowly but surely, it helped draw attention to how down and negative on myself I was, and helped me to change my thought patterns to more of the positive thoughts that this app was sending me. Now that became a more natural part of my thinking. And I found myself thinking these, you know what? I am smart. You know what? I can do this. You know what? Yes, good things are coming to me. And I noticed that slowly but surely that became my new normal. So, like I said, whether it is just tiny little moments in your day, catching yourself and your thoughts, or writing down affirmations in a journal every morning or every evening, get really intentional and really hyper aware of your thoughts and start switching them over to positive self belief in yourself, because you can do this. You can do hard things. And that's it. That's all I would do for the first few weeks of the year. And then if you want to build on that, like I said, go back, listen to a couple of the first episodes where I talk about some other habits that you can tackle and how to build on that, strength training, things like that. As always, if you don't already, you can follow me on Instagram at Allison Haley Fitness, where I try to share multiple tips, workouts, meals, things like that throughout the week as well. And remember, some days you're going to crush it, and some days you're just not. And that doesn't mean that you're a failure. It means that you're human and life is lifing. And all you can do is just get back up and try again the next day. This doesn't need to be some big, I'm on track, I'm off track thing. This is just life. It's life, and you're constantly making the best decision for you. And remember not to compare yourself to anybody else's journey, because we're all in our own different bubbles, and you are mostly only seeing the highlight reels on Instagram anyways. We're not trying to be better than anybody else. You are not behind just because you're not in the same place as anybody else. You are in this, quote, competition with you and you alone. Your goal, your only goal needs to be to just do a little bit better than you did yesterday. So I want you to commit to making this your best year yet, to having different thought patterns, to doing things differently, to showing up for you no matter what that looks like, to no longer beating yourself up or thinking that you're a failure for not doing things the way that you thought they should be done. This is going to be a different year. This is going to be your year, and you are going to end it feeling so much better and so much stronger than you started. And if this message resonated with you today and you know another mom that needs this positivity in her life, I encourage you to share this episode with her. Bring a little bit of positivity to her light and remind her that she is doing an amazing job too. As always, please give this show a review and a follow so that we can help bring it to as many more moms as we can. Thank you so much again for joining me today. Have a beautiful week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Realistically Consistent. If today's episode helped you, please hit subscribe and leave a quick rating as it helps more moms find the show. You can visit AllisonHaleyFitness.com for more tools, tips, and ways to stay connected. And just as a quick reminder, I'm here to share general information and encouragement, but this podcast isn't meant to replace professional medical or health advice. Everyone's circumstances are different, so be sure to check in with your trusted healthcare provider before making any big changes. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, keep showing up for yourself one realistic step at a time.